Hi everyone, it's Stacy from PeonyLaneDesigns.com. Have you subscribed to the channel yet? If not, click the little blue button. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, comment down below, like this video, and click the bell icon to be notified. Okay, I got nothing. There's nothing in here today. There's no furniture in here today. Finished the trunk. I got to get pictures and I will post it on everything. I'll post it here. I'll post it on Instagram. It's too dark to take pictures right now. I got home late tonight. And it is snowing. It's like 50 degrees. Now it's snowing. Of course it is, because it's Minnesota. It rained first. More ice. Anyway, I have nothing to work on today. And I'm not going to drag something out to work on today because tomorrow is the Picket Fence Gals tour. So actually the day that you're watching this is the Picket Fence Gals tour. And then the rest of the week is taken up with running to Picket. So I thought I would do something different today in that I have been wanting to do this for a really, really long time. I want to take your questions that you have about painting, business, all that stuff. And I'd like to make it into like a series of shorts. I need your questions to do that. So I have a few questions that come in from time to time, and I've saved a few of them because I thought I was going to write blog posts, and I still might write a blog post or two, depending on if this topic is a hot topic or relevant or not. But somebody asked me, because I'm painting with latex, can you paint latex on wood? Yeah, of course. What happens if you paint latex on wood? Well, nothing bad. I don't know if the question, don't be surprised if you do ask me questions for the series of shorts. This is not going to be a short. This is more announcing that we're going to be doing shorts. But I thought I'd answer this question because it just came up. And you guys can email me. I mean, my email's accessible. My DM for Instagram. You can put comments in the description below or comment on the video and ask questions. However you want to get a question to me, I'm happy to hear from you. I'm happy to answer your questions. If you're painting latex on raw wood, we did that the other day, didn't we? Yeah, yesterday. So on the side of the trunk was raw wood, and you saw me paint directly on it. Well, what happens when you've got a piece of raw wood? First of all, you're going to want to prep that surface, like any surface. You're going to want to sand it. And I don't mean you have to take an 80 grit and tear it down. I mean, get a scuff pad. I don't have one with me right now. But a Scotch-Brite pad or a scuff pad of some kind, or just any piece of sandpaper, lightly sand that thing. It's not a big deal. I don't know where like this whole thing about not sanding before you paint came from, but trust me, you'll never be sad you prepped the surface. But the Scotch-Brite pads, little scuff pads that you can get at any hardware store. My husband gets them from me from his buddy that works at 3M. So in Minnesota, everybody here knows somebody works at 3M. They have an employee store where they get things really, really cheap, and he'll buy us scuff pads. So I got scuff pads from 3M. And it's just like a Brillo pad or a, Scotch-Brite pad that you can use on your dishes to scrub stuff off. And you can just scrub the surface. All you're trying to do is just make some little scratches in it so that the paint has something to bind onto. With raw wood. So say you've got something like my spinner. It's raw wood. I put smalls on this and I spin them while I paint. Your first coat of paint, if you don't prime this surface, is going to soak into the wood. It's not going to hurt anything. So if you don't have primer, you've got latex paint and you want to paint this kind of surface, it's okay. Occasionally what will happen if you paint raw wood like this is you'll feel a texture come up. it'll kind of turn fuzzy. That's the way I don't know how to explain it other than it feels like fuzzy. And that's the fibers of that wood that come up when it's wet. You're gonna probably want to sand it after that and use the scuff pad. You don't have to get like an 80 grit sandpaper and go after it. It's a lightly rub that down. I don't even have to put any weight on my hand. It's literally like lay it down and do that. And it should take all those little fuzzies off, okay? After that, your next coat of paint should cover pretty well, okay? So that first coat of paint you put on ended up being the primer for the wood. If you had primed raw wood, you probably would have got the little fuzzies too, all right? I was lucky yesterday on that piece, that trunk that I painted. No fuzzies. I was able to paint 2 coats on it and it covered and it was beautiful. It depends. It's just, you know, I think it's the gods of DIY. Just decide if it's going to be a good day for you or not. Is that a thing? Are there gods of DIY? Feels like it. I know there must be a devil of DIY because, Lord, some days he's after me. The devil of DIY is in my backyard, y'all. And he's like, you gonna try what? Oh, you think you're gonna do? Okay. But anyway, second coat should be fine. If you finish that coat, you find that it is raised up a little bit. You just had a really dry piece of wood and that you're going to have to do the sand those little fuzzies down again. Eventually it'll get smooth. Okay. So yes, you can paint on wood with latex. You can paint over the surfaces. Like I painted over that cherry stain with latex paint. I used latex house paint. I don't know what has happened like in the DIY space where everybody thinks you have to have specialty furniture paint. You absolutely do not. Go to the hardware store, go to Menards or Home Depot or Lowe's. And if they have pre-mixed paints and you like the color, just buy that. It's latex, it's fine. I personally don't like working with oil-based paints. So that's the only thing I would caution you against picking up is an oil-based paint because the cleanup is so nasty. I mean, you got to have like mineral spirits and actually clean in a separate, you can't use soap and water on that. I'm a soap and water cleanup person and I wish my brushes would clean themselves anyway. So since they don't, I'm certainly not going to get like mineral spirits to start cleaning. No oil base for me, thanks. So as long as you get a water base and let's just grab a can of paint right here. So this was the cabinet paint that I picked up. It was the pre-mixed dark gray. It says right there, water-based alkali. Water-based. So there's water-based latex, water-based alkali. There's acrylics are water-based. All of those are soap and water cleanup. All of them can be painted on wood. All of them can be painted over stained wood. They can be painted on raw wood. If you want to get a primer, it just makes life easier, frankly. Sometimes primer, if you have raw wood, you're going to see things like, let's pull my raw wood up again. Look, see all the little graining, see the knot hole. If you're painting a color on top of this, it's probably not going to cover evenly like you would want it to. That's why people use primers. Primer blocks stains. It blocks things like the textures and the knot holes. It's what people use so that they have a uniform color across the entire surface. That makes sense? Okay. See, I feel like we're learning something. Like, I'm trying to answer the questions you didn't ask when you asked me if you could paint latex on wood. Yes, you can paint latex on wood, but then there's all these other things that come with it that I feel like might come up later. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully all the extra information you didn't ask for is helpful. Like, when would you use a primer? Why don't you use a primer? Sometimes I don't use primer because I don't have it. And if I'm painting a dark color, it doesn't really matter. Like when I was painting the black, I didn't prime it. And I'll be honest with you, because most primer you get is white. Painting black over a white primer is a pain in the butt. So I had a primer tinted gray when I was painting that dresser gray, a dresser gray not too long ago, because I didn't want to paint a dark gray over the white on a client's project and see little pops of white coming through and have to do 18 coats to get rid of it. It's so annoying. So if you're working on a project and it's for yourself, let's say you are doing your kitchen cabinets, in which case, yes, I would recommend a primer, right? And possibly a high adhesive primer. You can have that tinted. They can't match your paint exactly. It won't take the paint. Like, we got pretty close on the gray, but the guy was like, I've never tinted a primer. I'm like, go with me on this one. Just trust me. They don't always trust me. Trust me, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Just don't let the devil of DIY know that I'm doing anything. I'll be fine. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, he didn't believe me. So I said I wanted him to get it as close to the other paint that I had mixed as possible. And he did a really good job. And the primer went on. It went on really nice. The coloring did not affect the primer in any way. If you're painting a black, have that primer tinted. Oh, y'all, makes life so much easier. White primer, black paint. I'm trying to think of what other questions you may have about painting latex on wood. I think we covered it all. Oh, do you need to clear coat the latex? Nope. Latex does not require a clear coat. Sometimes I will use a clear coat, and here are the situations that I might. If you're going to have a tabletop or a surface where you think you're going to be scrubbing it a lot, not a bad idea to maybe put a spar varnish on the top. Keeping in mind some of the varnishes will change the color of your paint. I don't recommend triple thick. I hate it. It's not meant for DIYers. I swear to the Almighty in heaven. It is not meant for DIYers. So I bought triple thick from Rust-Oleum, and I love me my Rust-Oleum. And the triple thick clear coat, you can't back brush it. Back brushing is, so if you put on one coat, one direction, that's it. If you start swiping back and forth, which is your natural pattern for painting, right? It gets gummy and sticky and it gets textured and it's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Varathane is a very good product. It doesn't yellow. So the reason why a lot of the varnishes and the clear coats have a yellow tint to them, because it tends to bring out the details in the wood stains. It enhances wood stain. That doesn't help you when you're painting something. So you put on a nice green or a nice blue and you put on a clear coat and suddenly you've got a little green tint to it because it's slightly yellow. It's frustrating. So you want to make sure that you get a clear coat that is a clear coat. Okay? So tabletops, a buffet I wouldn't necessarily, because I don't think you're going to be, using that as much as you would a tabletop, but anything that you think would get regular water seepage, like sweaty glasses, like a dining room table, and you paint it, that's when I probably would clear coat. because if you're going to put a sweaty glass down on it, over time, that latex paint is not going to hold up. Okay? For chairs, sides of things, I don't clear coat the sides. They're not getting enough use. Don't bother. The only time I would clear coat the sides of something I painted latex is if the sheen was significantly different from the paint that I used. So say I only had a flat paint in the color that I wanted, or even a semi-gloss, and I used a clear coat and it made the top super glossy. And I wanted the sides to match. That'd be the only time I do it. There's no point in clear coating the sides. Nobody's touching the sides of dressers. Like, they're not hugging it, touching it. I would never clear coat the top of a dresser anyway. How long does latex paint take to cure? 30 days minimum. It's going to be dry to the touch within a day, but I wouldn't push it in that day. Let's put it that way. Give it some time. And of course, dry time depends on weather, temperature, altitude, a whole lot of different variables. Once you start painting, you're going to figure it out pretty fast. Like, I know it's cold right now and I'm struggling with drying times. In the summer, it gets hot and sweaty and I struggle with drying times. And sometimes it dries too fast and sometimes it dries too slow, and not perfect. It's not a perfect system. And it doesn't mean that it, worked for me and I was dry in 2 hours and you're in a different climate and you're going, oh, it was a whole day before I could paint again. That's how it is. I hope that's answered some of the questions about latex. I can't think of anything else that you might want to know about painting with latex. If there's something I forgot to answer in this video, put a comment down below and let me know what it is. Also, if there are other questions you have about painting, vintage reselling, all that good stuff, like I said, I'd like to do shorts. This got a little long, but this was a broader topic. Painting with latex seems to be a hot button topic because people seem to think you need specialty paint to paint furniture, and you absolutely don't. Just get latex or a water base, water cleanup. Don't forget to prep your surfaces and you'll be fine. All right. Thanks for watching, you guys. I love you. Ask me all the questions you want. Bye. Happy junkin'. Bye.
Visit my blog, peonylanedesigns.com, for more tips, tricks, and inspiration. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll be notified of new videos. I post every week DIY tutorials and, of course, more junkin' videos.